It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning. Happy Monday to you. I'm Philip Simon.
And it is always a pleasure to be in your company as we start another week, and we're looking forward to a very exciting show. Before we get into that, though, I always have to ask Phil, how was the weekend?
Weekend was great. Weekend was great. Very active weekend here in New Providence. A lot of things happening. Did get an opportunity to go to the Food Fest. Hadn't been in a minute, but I took my kids there and had a great time. A lot of people.
I'm sure.
We were saying even last week on the show, it's like, well, we didn't hear a lot of advertising about this Food Fest.
Yeah.
But apparently it was on everybody's schedule.
Yeah, certainly it was. I always look forward to it every year. I didn't make it out this year, so that was a bit disappointing, but got to spend some wonderful time with my siblings yesterday and my husband and my daughter, so that's always a beautiful thing.
Can't beat that, man.
Yeah,
Can't
not
beat
at
that.
all.
I also got
Not
to
at
meet
all.
Godfrey's wife over the weekend as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you about that a little bit later.
Sure, please do. She's an awesome
We
woman.
definitely now know who's in charge.
Well, listen, it is going to be a great show, hopefully a better show than my Eagles playing last night against the Cowboys. It was actually an embarrassing defeat.
Oh, really? I missed it.
Yeah, I'm sure you were tapped out from the Food Fest. I
Yeah.
was up to see it, and let me just say that.
Oh, man. Sorry about that.
No words. No
Yeah,
words.
I'm sorry. Sorry. It's okay.
Yeah, I'll survive. I'll survive. I'll survive.
But it's about time the Cowboys won. I mean, goodness, they've just been a disaster.
Trust me, I take no offense to it,
Yeah.
given that I'm an Eagle, but the only consolation I had last night was that at least I'm not a Dolphin.
That's very true. And I heard the Dolphins even lost in the bye week. But anyway. So listen, we've got another great show with you, lined up for you. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, of course, all month long. Andrew Sweeting is here, of course, to talk about some of our own challenges, such as Sweet Person. We also have a wood artist. We're talking all things wood this morning. I'm looking at some of the designs here, and we're going to be talking with the artist relative to his work. And, of course, Exuma Business Outlook is this week. If you have not booked your ticket, you got to do it real soon.
Certainly. In addition to that, we're going to be having some young people join us. Of course, October is also National Youth Month.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking with them
Everything's
about...
happening in October.
Yeah, October's a good month,
Yeah.
I guess. It's
Yeah.
not November, best month ever, but last, you fit some things in there. But we will be having those youth parliamentarians come in and talk about that youth in parliament
Yeah.
experience. In addition to that, the Director of Education is here. He's got some updates for us.
Yeah.
Certainly hoping for a good conversation with him, finding out what's happening with schools at this time. So that should be pretty good. And then we've got some specialists in from Doctors Hospital. They've got some pretty good information that they're going to be sharing with us this morning. So we hope that you will call a friend, phone a friend, text a friend, tell them Bahamas at Sunrise is on. And of course, we're here to inform, educate, and sometimes entertain with that cute face. We've got more to come, but first, let's take a look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star, and good morning, Bahamas. And yeah, first look at weather at sunrise. Across the islands, very little clouds. Weak high-pressure system dominated the weather across the islands. Will dominate until about Thursday when we have a weak cold front moving the extreme northwest Bahamas, and that's bring some increasing cloudiness sometime late Thursday into Friday. In your weather today, partly sunny, hot and humid. Slight chance of 1 to 2 passing showers. Your high temperature 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, a few clouds, still on the warm side. There's a slight chance of 1 to 2 passing showers, particularly with the central and southeastern islands. Your low temperature go down to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And to regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 83 and 78. In Jamaica 83 and 72. In Trinidad 85 and 76. and the Turks and Caicos Islands 89 and 78. Across North America, Atlanta 74 and 57, in Raleigh 72 and 51, in Miami 87 and 78, Dallas, Texas 74 and 59, and Toronto, Canada 59 and 48. As we go through the week, partly sunny skies into Wednesday, mix of sun and clouds on Thursday, then variable cloudiness on Friday and Saturday with a couple of showers, maybe nice a thunderstorm, though temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s, at nighttime in the mid to upper 70s. That puts you up on your first look at the weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Well, we do have some alarming statistics this morning, but it's very important that you know them so that you can do what's necessary to try to prevent yourself from becoming one. In the Bahamas, we know that there are about 300 to 500 new cases of breast cancer diagnosed each year, and about 48% of those cases are in women under 50. Those statistics, they really are alarming, but there are things that can be done to certainly aid one that does have breast cancer, and of course it all begins with preventative screening. So this morning we're very happy to be talking with someone from the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group, Andrea Sweeting, who is the president. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, and it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Always happy to have you with us, whether it's we're talking about breast cancer awareness or one of the many other things that you find yourself involved in. We're always so happy to have you. I want to learn more about your story today, though. We often talk about the group, but to learn more about you and kind of your experience as a survivor, when were you first diagnosed?
I was diagnosed in 2001.
Okay.
2001, 18 years.
That process of being diagnosed, especially at that time, because we've been continuing to make strides year after year. What was that experience like?
For me, well, I had found a lump. And
that was through self-examination?
Through self-examination.
Wow.
And I had the mammogram done, and they realized there was something there. Then surgery was done, but it was 0 to stage 1.
Okay.
And so for me, that was extremely early.
Okay.
I found it in November. I had all my stuff done, follow-ups and everything, but I had surgery January the 5th, 2001.
Wow.
And from there on in, I did my treatments. Unfortunately, we had to be doing treatments in the U.S. because of the mere fact that we had no, Dr. Turnquest was just relocating back home.
Okay.
And so I did all my treatments in the U.S.
Okay.
I did it at Cedars of Lebanon, then is now the University of Miami. So for me, it was an experience. My radiation was done also in Florida as well.
Okay.
And so I'm very grateful for what has actually transpired over my 18 years.
Yeah.
And it's equipped me to be a messenger in most cases for our women to let them know this disease can't be beaten, but we must do something about it the minute we find out that we have something or detect something. Early detection truly saves lives.
Yeah.
And we want individuals to understand that.
Yeah. So what made you decide to get involved with the Sister Group?
Well, truthfully, Dr. Charles Diggers was my doctor, my surgeon.
Okay.
And when I went for my last follow-up to make sure that everything was okay after surgery, he said, I have someone I'd love for you to meet. And I was a little bit hesitant, and he said it was Nurse Charlene McPhee of the group. And he's being a founder, Dr. Loxley Monroe and Nurse Charlene McPhee. It was just a pleasure to be there and to understand what the women were going through, and that I was not alone.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. And when I first went to the group, I started out as the secretary, and then here I am as president several years later. And those days it was Yvette Cargill who was the first president, so I'm just the second president. So we have come a long way. The group actually has come a very long way, and I am just so proud of them. And as it stands, wasn't here through this whole first weeks of October. I am truly proud of my assistant secretary, my vice president, as well as the treasurer. Everybody just stepped up to the plate to make sure that everything that needed to be done was done.
Excellent.
So I'm truly proud of them.
Excellent. And Are you feeling better now?
Well, I am really on the road to recovery, so I have so much to be thankful for.
Okay.
Truly thankful. I still have some issues with my hand, the left hand. But what they're telling me from the wrist up to the shoulders are all good.
Okay.
So we just have to keep working at the hand.
Okay, okay. Well, you sit here, Ms. Wheating, and you are for us, I think, a beacon of hope of what we can push through, and the resilience of the human spirit, and then being able to fight those individual battles and then turn it into a collective organization like Sister Sister. How does Sister Sister actually work in terms of support? Is it just meetings and we talk about our feelings? Or are there things that actually happen as a result of the group?
All these years we've actually been giving the Porticats, and the Porticata is the instrument that is surgically implanted for the administration of the chemotherapy.
Okay.
In addition to that, we give the actual needles that go along with that. One is for the transfusion itself, one is for the flush, and another flush.
Okay.
And so we provide those for our patients too. In about a year and a half now, we have started at oncology what we call morning tea, 1 day a week.
Okay.
And we've found that through the years, we have given these pots. We know these women by their names, some of them, and some of them from the family islands.
Right.
But now we get to really see them in person.
Okay.
And that has been truly been a blessing.
Awesome.
So I'm so happy that we are able to continue to do that. Some persons were saying, it's kind of a strain because it's putting more on you. You have to go do this and do that.
Yeah.
But it's a pleasure
Yes.
to be able to actually see them and to know that we are there for them doing their treatments.
And we do have to go, Ms. Wheating, but before we do, how can we support Sister Sister and just this whole idea of Pinktober generally?
Right.
How can we give more support to you and to cancer patients?
Honestly and truly, each patient needs assistance, regardless to what. And because of the fact that some of them have waited a little bit too long, we find that they need more than that.
Okay.
And so, the group is always blessed to have the corporate sponsors who really come forward and assist us. And we have individuals who do the very same thing, but the funds are truly needed. This year, to date, we've actually given out 145 Porticats.
Wow, excellent.
145,
Congratulations.
yes.
Congratulations.
For 2018, we did 188.
Okay, so we still got to push that envelope just a bit more. We got to get to
Yes.
at least 190 this year.
Yes, so
Awesome.
honestly and truly, we try our best to make sure that we say thanks again to Ports International, because if we don't have the funds to do so, they would credit us these pots.
Wow.
And once we get a donation,
You're
then
able
we
to
can
go
pay
and
them.
pay.
Yes.
Wow. Well, listen, it
So-
takes great corporate partners and individuals working together to make it happen. But
Yes.
thank you guys for being the catalyst of it all and giving us a source of helping. So
Yeah.
thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you so very much. I am truly grateful to be where I'm at today
Yeah.
for the journey that I've been on just recently. And so I know there's still a God up above who
Amen.
takes care of all of us.
Indeed, indeed.
Thank
A
you.
pleasure to have you with us.
Appreciate it.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence, every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want first response on your side, call 321st or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First response can't prevent an accident from happening.
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
We get up early every morning to offer safe and dependable service. Where quality service is paramount. An excellent travel experience is priority. Connecting the islands of the Bahamas to the world. Bahamas Air. We don't just fly here, we live here.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. He's a former teacher at the esteemed Kingsway Academy there on Bernard Road. He's also a furniture maker, but now he's just into the fine arts of wood making. Mr. David McGoran, welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I hope I pronounced that last name correct. I know it's far up there in England and Scotland. And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
That's amazing. We were just having a wonderful conversation before we got started. You know, Suzette Park and I are both graduates of Kingsway Academy, so I'm quite familiar with the institution. But again, you've been involved with woodwork and artistry for a very long time.
Yes.
And
yes.
So talk a little bit about, before we get into these designs, but talk a little bit about you.
Well, I came out to the Bahamas teaching at Kingsway back in '95, so I've been here 24 years. Met my wife here, got married here, have 3 wonderful children. And I've always enjoyed working with wood, working with my hands, making things. And after teaching for a long time, working with the Haven Drug and Alcohol Rehab Centre and teaching the men carpentry and having my own furniture business, I decided it was time to focus more on what my real passion was, which is art. So this is where I've moved into the artwork. And
that's different. How would you describe, you know, the type of artwork that you do?
It's anything that I can make from wood. And I'm trying to push the boundaries all the time. I've got inspiration really comes from the environment around us. I look at God's creation. It inspires me every day. There's something new to look at. So I'm trying to push the limits of what you can do with wood to try new things.
Oh, excellent. Well, obviously this is, I think this is some native wood here as well.
Yes.
So what do we have?
Okay, the native wood we have, this one here is actually a piece of almond bur from the Bahamian almond tree.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you shape it?
Well, this is put onto a lathe, and the lathe will have this piece of wood would be mounted like this, and it will be spinning really fast. And then you come in with a gouge, and you can shape the piece, and you can also hollow out the inside, so it spins fast. And then this one here is a piece of Bahamian wild tamarind, and again that's turned on the lathe.
The tamarind.
Yeah, from the wild tamarind tree. Now there's a difference between the sweet tamarind where you get the fruit.
Right.
That's a white coloured wood.
Right.
And the wild tamarind you have the dark brown coloured wood.
Right. And these also, I mean, this looks more like straw.
Yeah, this piece here was inspired by the plait work. We did an exhibition earlier this year for Transforming Spaces where all the pieces were inspired by plait work, and this is one here where I plaited wood and then I steamed it and bent it into this shape. And that's something new that I'm playing with that I don't believe anybody's done before. So it's a new idea.
Now this one is a little bit different. I looked at first and like it kind of looked a little, you know, Middle Eastern at first, you know, but that is a vase.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The idea of this one is play on the positive negative space. So instead of keeping the vase, the piece of wood that would make the vase, I kept the wood outside and turned it so you have the vase. And this is actually turned on the lathe, and these pieces of wood actually rotated to form the shape. It's really a complicated thing to do. And again, it's something that's fairly new.
Yeah, and this one right here, I mean, obviously this takes, well, I don't know, it takes a minute for you to design and create something like this?
Yes, that one again, the struts on this are actually steam bent in a steam box. You have to heat them up with steam so they become pliable, and then you can bend them and it forms the shape. And that's based on the old fish pots that would have been lowered, again, straw work and stuff, so the inspiration. Yeah.
What do you enjoy the most? So when you wake up in the morning, as an artist, I imagine the mind is just always, when you talk about the inspiration, but what gets you going the most? I mean, we talk about the environment. Is there a rhythm or a rhyme or a structure to how you think and create, or it's just?
Yeah, well, there's, I guess the first thing, I mean, sunrise and sunsets. This piece over here is based on the sunrise, sunset, and every morning we see a brand new day, a brand new sunrise, sunset, and that gets me going. And then looking at the trees and the plants, you get different shadows and plays and colours. Something that I've been really looking at lately has been the banana tree and the flower you get from the banana has beautiful colours, and so I'm trying to think, can I use that in some way? Can I work on that? So anything that I see around me really inspires me and gets me going.
Yeah, very nice. You know, you talked about transforming spaces, but you've also been featured at the National Art Gallery. You know, talk a little bit more about these exhibitions. Is there another one coming up soon?
Hopefully next year there'll be one. There's definitely will be transforming spaces again, and with Pam Burnside at Dunglick is still working on the idea of the straw and various things. So I'm looking at other things I can do with the plats. And then I'm aiming for another exhibition some point in the early part of next year.
Okay.
But I've had about 4 exhibitions at Dunglick. I have some work that's for sale at Dunglick and also at National Art Gallery. And I've been part of Transforming Spaces about 3 or 4 years.
Do you do custom work?
Yes, I also have had commission pieces that I've done. I finished one this year that was 8 foot tall by 3 foot, 3 foot, and it was of steam bent fish with seagrass. Absolutely beautiful piece.
Amazing. I mean, so this is just really the tip of the iceberg. How many pieces do you think you have? I mean,
I don't know.
You lost count. And it also goes into furniture as well. I mean,
yes. I have pieces. One of my exhibitions, I had a nice side table that had a drawer, and inside the drawer, I had done covered storage areas, and it was done in bright colours like a Mondrian piece. And the Mondrian has the black lines and bright colours, and it was inspired by Mondrian. So there's a lot of things.
Fun fact, he's even a boat builder. We were just talking about that before we got started. But the boat, do you still use it?
We haven't used it for a while, primarily because we had twins, and when we had our twins, a lot of expense, and then we didn't get out in it. But it's a mahogany runabout that I made here.
Excellent.
So it's a beautiful little boat.
All right. Well, listen, I'm sure persons are interested in learning more about you, how they can reach you.
Yeah, they can contact me. They can always get me through Pam Burnside at Dunglick. She has all my contact information, and my pieces are there for sale. But they can also get me on my email, which would be drmcgorrin, which is MCGORRIN at gmail.com.
Okay, excellent. And of course, if you didn't get that, you can always call us here in Bahamas at Sunrise, and we can provide the contact as well. David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right, you're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We've been with David McGorrin. We'll be right back.
Wait, that's Omar Little from The Wire. You think everyone is Omar from The Wire?
Wow, it's really nice to meet a fan.
It's like he's right here. I telling you he's been on all type of shows and stuff?
And you know, Rev Go Play plays a lot of good movies and TV shows.
Excuse me, can't you see we're watching something else? Rude.
Settle all your pop culture disputes with Rev Go Play. Watch, record, and stream all your favorite shows wherever you are. Free for all Rev TV subscribers. Rev, you and us together.
Do you want to know more about the scriptures, the early Christian church, its teachings, suffering, other religions, the authenticity of the Bible? The Anglican Theological Institute is for you. Enroll in a 3-year certificate program. Classes are conducted from NASA and Freeport on Saturday mornings. Don't miss a class. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with high-speed internet. Contact us at 603-2481. Visit our Facebook page. Pick up an application form at any Anglican church or at Addington House on Sands Road. The Anglican Theological Institute is for you.
Thank you for staying with us here on Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm certainly looking forward to this next segment and to having you involved with it. having a very interesting conversation this morning on a special treatment for diabetes and peripheral vascular disease involving stem cell transplants. Now this is major, and we've heard a lot about stem cells, I'm sure, throughout the years, but with the way technology is moving, this really might be something that we want to learn more about. And so very happy to have joining us today Dr. Alejandro Mesples. He's a stem cell specialist. And then in addition to that, we get to find out more about the current situation in terms of urgent care on the ground in Abaco, because we're also being joined this morning by Dr. George Charity, who's a general practitioner in Abaco. And of course, both of these gentlemen join us through the Doctor's Hospital, so very happy that they can be here. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, now Dr. Mesples, I want to start with you because you actually own the patent for diabetes cell therapy, and that's actually quite interesting to me. So how are we kind of advancing in the treatment related to stem cells in the Bahamas? Because that's a big deal to be able to have stem cell work happening here in this country.
Yes, first, thank you very much for the invitation. Bahamas have a very important problem with diabetes. You know, diabetes is a chronic disease. It's have no cure in this moment. But new treatments, biological treatment, can improve the evolution of the patients with diabetes. And stem cell treatment, stem cell transplant is one of these treatments. Here in the Bahamas, the government, the National Stem Cell Ethics Committee, approved this new treatment, and I think it's a very good option for patients with diabetes without complications.
Okay.
You know, the blood sugar control is very important in diabetic patients, but many patients have complications with very good controls of blood sugar. Our objective is no complications and improve the pancreatic function in these patients.
Wow.
And it's possible.
That is, I mean, that is, I'm sure for people living with diabetes, and my grandmother had diabetes before she passed away, and so I just know so many people, even from a family line, that would be amazed by this and might have a better quality of life as a result of this type of work that you're doing. Now, you also do this with something called peripheral vascular disease, correct? What is that specifically?
Yes, I am an interventional cardiologist.
Okay.
And the relation between diabetes and vascular disease is very strong because patients with diabetes have strokes, myocardial infarction, and peripheral vascular disease. I have experience in peripheral vascular disease revascularization. Many patients, and here in the Bahamas many patients have occluded arteries and pain and high risk of amputation. And at Dr. Hospital we have a very good program to make revascularization in these patients, improve the blood flow in the legs, and improve the quality of life of these patients.
I can imagine.
And no, of course, the objective in this patient is have not amputation.
Yes. And you know, it's interesting as you talk about it. My grandmother always would complain about problems with her legs, but it never occurred to me that it might be connected to the diabetes. And so you think, you know, people use different terminologies, especially in our islands, to say, oh, I have leg problems, but they don't know the connectivity to the diabetes. So the stem cell works by being injected, or how does that work?
We are working, the protocol use bone marrow stem cells, and systemic infusion is in endovenous infusion.
Okay.
We also treat patients with critical limb ischemia, with peripheral vascular disease, But in this patient, the infusion is local.
Okay, okay.
But for the patient, is a very good option also because it's very safe.
Yeah.
It's very effective.
Wow.
Improve very much.
Yes.
Stem cells improve the blood flow in the tissue, and no amputation. The patient can walk, can alive.
Yeah, that is. I think that this is revolutionary, and it will help so many people here. And as we talk about health, and we talk about the Family Islands, and the fact that we know that we experience diabetes, heart disease, and chronic levels right here in the Bahamas, I want to turn now to you, Dr. Charity, and learn more about what's been happening in Abaco. You know, we've continued to hear the stories, and they've just made us cry, made us question, made us want to understand more. And you have your own story, I'm sure, on how you survived, because you've been in Abaco for 12 years. So kind of talk to us about what it took for you to be here today, and then let us know what's been happening on the ground as you try to help patients and the people that you've needed to kind of rescue. So many things between then and now. Talk to me.
Well, good morning. It's a life-changing experience. Where do I start?
Well, let's start with the clinic, where you were originally. Is that still standing?
Well, the clinic is destroyed. I mean, everything is lost in the clinic.
Okay.
Between the water damage and the wind damage. Let me give you a little history from the beginning. I decided to shelter the hurricane in the clinic.
Right.
Right at the beginning of the storm, around about 11 o'clock, I decided to go outside and get a piece of paper that was in my vehicle. It wasn't very important, but and when I got in the vehicle, the wind picked up. So I said I'll sit in the vehicle for a few minutes and wait until the wind died, and I'll go back in the clinic. And then all of a sudden I saw the water start rising rapidly. I decided to get out of the vehicle and go back in the clinic. But I couldn't get the door open because of the water pressure and the wind. The door would not open. And thankfully for me, that was a life-saving experience, because the water level came up about 15 feet.
Wow.
So the clinic was completely covered.
Wow.
And I would have been trapped in the clinic.
Yeah.
I spent the entire storm on the outside, you know, the element on the second level, and saw many things. Boats came back through.
Wow.
Even saw people going by.
Wow.
And it was about 3 days, even after the storm, because of the water level, couldn't get out.
Wow.
So my name was even on that list of missing people because they didn't know where I was.
Yes.
And there are many, many other stories about, I mean, many touching stories of how people survive.
I mean, but to go from that, right? Because I'm sure you were needed almost as soon as they found you, or you were able to get out.
Yeah, as soon as I was able to get out, I went out and helped out with recovery and helping people get food, etc., moving people around from shelter, because some of the shelters were even destroyed.
Right.
And so between the clinic and the government complex, it was a matter. It was a matter.
What has healthcare been like since then? I mean, I've interviewed a doctor that flew in from New York as a part of the doctor's hospital team. They came in and went in almost right away, but what has it been like even now, trying to re-establish a sense of normalcy as people are slowly moving back to the island, in terms of the health care that has been being done in Abaco?
Healthcare is being provided mostly by the government clinic in Marsh Harbor.
Okay.
But on the outlying areas, especially on the Keys, we've had a lot of assistance from doctors internationally who came in through the NGOs.
Okay.
Like Samaritan Purse and other organizations. They've been providing health care.
Excellent.
At the beginning, the persons who needed airlift, that was being provided by the U.S. and also the Belgian force that came in and helped give a lot of assistance.
Okay.
So as far as healthcare, I think we basically had a good control between those different services. But the thing about it is all the private clinics were destroyed.
Wow.
So as far as private services, there's not much of that going. There's not any of that going on
Right now. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I've been going back every weekend to see patients. I even had to see patients in my car at the airport,
Wow.
you know, because, and so what we've been doing as well as, especially with medications, I've been carrying back medications to patients who need medications. And what I also like to announce is what now, if we have people in Abaco who have problem getting their medications, we've arranged a program with Doctors Hospital.
Excellent.
So they can contact me, 458-1234, and if we'll talk about how they get their medications, they could get their medicines the next day.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and joining us this morning. Just two revolutionary things happening at the same time, right? On one side, there's this idea of stem cells and what that could do, and we're talking about the technological advancement of that. And then on the other side, this is a people that is rebuilding entirely from scratch. And we're saying to them, you can now get basic medications, which is critical. So, Doctors Hospital, thank you. Thank you for sending both of these gentlemen to us this morning. Looking forward to seeing the growth in both of your areas, both in rebuilding Abaco and with technology and stem cells. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
So who really own the Nassau Container Port?
Boss, that's easy. The government.
I do.
I do. Thank you.
I do.
I do. And one day, he will too.
I do. Knock knock.
Here at the Nassau Container Port, we've diversified our ownership to give hardworking Bahamians a piece of the economic pie. And we'll continue to grow so that we can give you a consistent return on your investment. That's our promise.
Hi, I'm Davriel, and welcome to Rev Tips, where we answer your most important Rev service questions. Today's question is, how do I set up a Rev My Account? It's super easy. To create a Rev My Account, simply visit www.cablebahamas.com and click the My Account icon. Next, select the Create Account option. Please have a copy of your latest statement on hand. Enter the information as it appears on the statement to the respective areas on the form. When you have finished, click Create Account to continue with the process. Once you've registered your account, you can use your username and password to check your account balance, view past statements, and pay your bill online. And that's your Rev Tip for this week. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join us next time.
I always wanted to come back to the College of Bahamas. I wanted to be a faculty. When the opportunity came for me to be Vice President of Operations, I said, well, let me try that first. It makes me proud because I was here before. I feel as if now I'm sort of like a beacon for those students who are here to say, hey, listen, I can actually be a Vice President. I can actually be one of the big leaders at the university. I'm Ronnie Stevenson, and this is my UB.
Apply today at www.ub.edu.bs.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point on this marvelous Monday.
Yes, she is Anastasia Palacios, and I'm Philip Simon.
Yay! He would be so proud of you. Good morning, Mr. Claire.
And also good morning to all of you watching us on YouTube and in Facebook. We see you.
Yeah, we're so grateful that you tuned in. Whichever way you can, from all around the world, we really just appreciate having you in our space, having the opportunity to dialogue with you. And I've had some really good conversations this morning.
Yes, Andrea is such a lovely woman. So strong.
Yeah, she is.
Despite, you just never know the real challenges that somebody is going through.
Yeah.
And, you know, thank you for coming on this morning and sharing that so openly with us.
Yeah, and then of course I was speaking with Dr. Charity, who is in Abaco, and he was talking about riding the storm out for 3 days in his car and people thinking that he had passed because the clinic was destroyed, but he just couldn't get up because of the water, and then moving from that space right into giving medical aid. And so I think the stories of survival just all around, both those who have overcome breast cancer or other challenges, and then those who can, the stories that continue to pour in from Abaco and Grand Bahama, just...
It's amazing. I mean, it's
the resilience of the human spirit.
And the resilience of the Bahamian spirit. I mean, you know, we have our challenges, but again, I say it over and over until we get it. This is still the best country in the world, the best people in the world. Despite our challenges, despite our conflicts at times, I still believe that there's nothing like us.
I will have to agree.
I
have to agree.
So listen, before you go there, I was just looking at, yesterday was Hats and Heels Day, right?
It was Baptist Day Parade. And before I even sat down, I just saw the photo and I said, it was Baptist Day? And Phil said, yes, it was. Baptist Day Parade, I live for you. When my Grammy was alive, we would take her down just to watch it. And she would just sit in the car and look at the hats going by. Oh, good times, good times.
I love it.
Listen, we got more to come in the second half of the show. We've got the Ministry of Education with us. They're going to be talking to us, giving us some updates.
Marcella Stella is back, the Director of Education. And also, too,
Ministry
Youth
of
Empowerment.
Youth,
Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. We've been doing it all month long. It's also Youth Month, so looking forward to having a conversation with some bright, energetic young persons.
Yeah, hoping that they could give me some more energy this morning. We're going to take a second look at weather now with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Darren. Good morning, Bahamas. And your second look at weather at sunrise, the tropics. I'm pleased to say this morning the tropics is quiet and tropical storm formation not expected during the next 5 days. On the local scene, weak high pressure across the islands will dominate weather into Wednesday ahead of a weak cold front that should move sometime by late week. In your marine forecast, those winds today southeast to south at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet, over the northwest Bahamas, east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet, over the central and southeastern islands. On Tuesday, those winds become east to the 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet, in northwest Bahamas, northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet, over the central and southeastern islands. There are no winds across all the islands, northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet. Yeah, tides. You can expect a high tide headed at 6:38 this morning. Next high tide will be at 1:07 this afternoon. Low again this evening at 7:43. Sunset 6:36 this evening. Rises tomorrow morning at 7:11. UV index 8. Your water temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase last quarter. Over the next few days, we're looking at partly sunny skies. High pressure continues to dominate the belt, move away by Thursday, making way for a weak cold front on Thursday. And then we expect some increasing cloudiness by late Thursday into Friday. Temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s, at nighttime in the upper 70s. That puts her up in your fun look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Godfrey, of course. Thank you very much, Godfrey. Of course, this month has been Youth Month, and we've been featuring a very enlightening series with the Ministry of Education. I always say it's probably the most important ministry in our country, along with the Ministry of Youth. Here to conclude some of those conversations is Marcellus Taylor. He is the Director of Education. Welcome back to the show, Marcellus.
Good morning.
Yeah, good to see you. So we have been covering a lot of topics, and one of them dealt with universal pre-primary education, and of course the private preschool partnership program has allowed 1,200 plus students to be placed in preschools. How significant is the partnership and that particular number? Because that's pretty huge.
Well, the partnership is important because at this point there's a global thrust towards increasing enrollment at pre-primary level. Indeed, the global target is that by 2030 we would have at least one grade of pre-primary education across countries around the world. When we looked at our statistics, we realized that we had a substantial proportion of our 3- and 4-year-olds not enrolled in pre-primary. And so when we think of having to recruit and train and hire teachers, when we think about the building of facilities and so forth, there's a lot of expenses, a lot of money, it takes a lot of time and so forth. So we already had a very established pre-primary sector in the Bahamas. So the idea was, let us use what we already have, partner with those who are already in the sector. And in doing so, not only would we increase the enrollments for those students who do not get access, part of what we have built into that is a monitoring program. So even those children who are already in those private preschools are now having a program that is monitored and more robust. So the quality is improving for all students.
And is that, you mentioned 3 and 4 years old, is that the age that is the target age, or should it be a little bit sooner? I mean, what is the most appropriate age?
So, you know, based on the research that comes out of education schools now and also neuroscience research, you know, the earliest you could get students exposed to a good education program, the better. But what you find is that because of cost, because of logistics, it's easier to start bringing them in at age 3 in a preschool environment.
Okay, great. Yes. We were so excited at the beginning of September, actually at the end of August, when we talked about the virtual classroom initiative. I guess no better time than now to really pursue this, given not only the events of Dorian, but certainly the archipelagic nature of our country. How has that been going thus far?
I think it's been going quite well. As a matter of fact, when we initially started it this year, the intent was really to support rural schools with populations of less than 50 students in the secondary years of schooling. Because of the hurricane, we have had to extend it to areas that may not have ordinarily qualified, but areas that now require it.
Right,
so
exactly.
In Abaco particularly, we have about 2 or 3 groups that are up and running using the virtual school as well. And I think it's well, we had 2 groups of people, some teachers come on this show to talk about the experience, and I think the experience is not only good for the students, but it's also a good learning experience for the teachers.
Yeah, so critical right now. When Ms. Bastian was on, she also spoke about the increase in the number of persons, graduates with the Bahamas High School diploma. That program continues to be on track?
Yes, our goal is to have 85% of our students graduating by the year 2030. When we first started, the numbers were around maybe 50%, maybe a little less. Now we have to about 60%, and we have 11 years to go. So if each school, or if across the system we increase by 3 percentage points each year, we should be able to make the target. So it's doable. It's very doable. It's just that people have to be focused, and then of course we have to realize that it's not just what happens at the end of secondary school the last 3 years. This goal will only be achieved if all the players from pre-primary straight up do their part to ensure that students are ready for the next level. And then eventually they will graduate.
Of course, Dorian has continued to, to be notable, and certainly in most of our conversations, you've been back and forth to Grand Bahama so often, and we've heard the reports nationally speaking. But are we close to being reopened? What's the status?
Yeah, but in the case of Grand Bahama, students went back to school on Thursday. Most of the schools in Grand Bahama will be open today. We just have maybe 1 or 2 schools that need some adjustments. But we went there on Friday, and the students were happy to be back. The teachers also seem happy to be back. They're going to have to work particularly hard to make up some ground, because they lost more than 30 days. But I mean, we have to do the best we can given the circumstances.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The area of curriculum reform is being standardized with an established curriculum development cycle to ensure that the studies are up to date. This has always been an ongoing, project, not just within the ministry, but speak to not just the reform, but the impact that it has on national development.
Yeah, prior to 1982, we didn't even have a national curriculum. We just kind of taught whatever we were teaching. But the government saw at that point the need for us to structure a curriculum that would help with the national development process. And people have worked on curricular guides since then. The challenge is that people have not necessarily worked on them in a systematic way.
Okay.
So in some cases we had curricular guides that were 20 years old. Well, you know, something like agriculture, 20 years ago we were not teaching hydroponics, we were not using all these latest technology, not integrating solar systems into the process and all these kind of things. And so what we decided to do was to take the curriculum development process and put it on a cycle so that it is very predictable how frequently you will update curricular guides, so that the revision is very deliberate, and it also ensures that the quality and the relevance of what is being taught meets the standards of the now and the future.
And the future.
Right.
Yes, thank you so much. You know, I always like to ask this question, but of course you hold a very important position within our educational system. How does it feel? I mean, how are you feeling right now about the state of education, the state of the ministry, and particularly the quality of the students?
Generally good. I think we have a lot of students with a lot of promise and possibilities, and I think you know you see them manifest this in different ways. We still do have a lot of work to ensure that all of our students experience the same level of quality across the country in particular, so that there isn't this rural-urban disparity in terms of the quality of education delivered. We also have to ensure that we modernize our system as much as we can. It's a bit difficult because it's costly and it requires a new set of expertise. But you know, bit by bit, we move forward.
All right, great. We're going to see some of them here in our next segment. Marcellus Taylor, Director of Education, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
This is Eddie, and Eddie's a change counter. This is Sean. Sean doesn't have to count change because when Sean purchases a plan with Alive, it's VAT inclusive. Keep things simple, just like Alive's all-new VAT-inclusive prepaid plans with more talk, more text, and even more data. So don't be an Eddie. Freedom simplified. Alive. Believe in best.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Globally connected, locally focused. That's the theme for Youth Month. And today we're happy to have some of our people from the Ministry of Youth join us again. Now you all know that Phil and I love our young people, so whenever they are on set, we are the happiest that we could be. Especially happy because today I'm joined by one of my primary school teachers, Carla Brown-Wilker. She's the coordinator for Youth in Parliament. And my good friend, Sandina Neely. She's a youth consultant. And they've brought with them 4 young people who are absolutely outstanding. And I cannot wait to have them in Parliament because I know that they will have something awesome to contribute. Happy to have Lana Bethel with us. Rona Paul joins us as well. Hannah Miller is here, and so is John Bridgewater. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Oh, look at that. I done excited. Energy done back up. No, this is really an awesome time. Every October we get to have National Youth Month, and every October we get to have Youth in Parliament. Why is Youth in Parliament one of those programs that you continue to bring back over and over again, Ms. Brown?
Youth in Parliament provides this wonderful platform, this national platform, where our young people can express themselves. And it gives such a great opportunity for our orators to speak their views on national issues. And it's amazing the influence and the experience that they have. It's a lifetime experience. And the Ministry of Youth could only continue to provide such a platform for them.
Excellent. Now, Santina, you were a youth parliamentarian before, weren't you?
Absolutely, yes.
And now look at you, youth consultant to youth. You want to make it happen, right? But for you now, coming in as a youth consultant, you guys have so many things going on this past month. What are you looking forward to most about Youth in Parliament?
So for Youth in Parliament, I am looking forward to hear the robust debate and to hear the ideas of the youth.
Yes.
You know, youth comes with a lot of brilliance, so we're looking forward to all of the solutions they're going to give to some of the topics that we've chosen and selected for them to speak on.
Right.
And so I know it's just going to be an exhilarating time.
What are those topics that they'll be speaking on? Because they normally debate two topics, right? There's a morning session and an afternoon session of the House.
Yes.
What are the two topics they'll be covering?
So on Friday morning, we want you all to tune in, and they'll be debating in the first resolution, climate change and natural disasters, and they'll be paving the way forward for a national plan for our country. And then in the second resolution in the afternoon session, they'll be talking about the whole issue of social media, but targeting their talk to cyberbullying and fake news and ways to combat those two interesting phenomenon.
This is good stuff, y'all. That's so timely, Ms. Brown. And you know, so it's one thing, we're coming out of Dorian now, and three of our young people here are actually connected to Abaco and Grand Bahama. But then also this idea of cyberbullying and fake news, when we see it at the political level even. And this is why I think it's so good to have Youth in Parliament, right? Because they get to speak truth to power. So what is the prep like in order to make sure that they're ready for this very big platform that they're going to be given on Friday?
We ensure that we get experts in these areas to come in and present to them. Very important, they do their research. You have to research. And we make sure that they understand the parliamentary system. And they also get some pointers from a Toastmaster. And so at every angle, we're tooling them to be their best, to showcase their best, because we know the country's watching. And the country must see the brilliance of our young people.
So this will be on Friday morning. You guys start at what time on Friday?
We start at 9 a.m.
Start at 9 a.m. And of course there are two sessions. It will be on ZNS, I assume?
Live on the parliamentary
channel. And then will it be live streamed for those of us who use social media? Not for cyberbullying, but for other things.
That's the Division of Youth 242.
So I've enjoyed talking to you guys, but I'm going to talk to my young people now. Now, my youth parliamentarians. Lonnie, you're holding the mic, so I'm going to get started with you. How do you feel about going into this session? What is most exciting about being a youth parliamentarian?
For me, the most exciting part is having the opportunity to meet so many incredible young people. Just this morning, having a chance to talk to them while waiting for this interview was so enlightening to know that we have young people in this country that are so focused, that are self-driven. They're not doing some of the things that, you know, people would think this generation, we're just focused on doing things that aren't good and aren't productive. But these are young people who have dedicated themselves to not just helping themselves and their families, but also helping their country. And that's amazing. So forming these lifelong connections is just...
I mean, and Lana, I hear you, right? And Sandina and I are connected through this sort of youth system. And so you see where the relationships go in the long term. And it is a beautiful thing. So that is awesome. I'm going to let you pass that mic right along to Hannah. Now, Hannah, interestingly enough, this is your second Youth in Parliament.
Yes.
Tell me why you felt the need to come back for a second term, as the people would say.
Well, I had the privilege to participate inside Youth in Parliament 2016, where we actually, the lifelong connections is like predominant. We speak every day. But I came back because in 2016 I was 19 years old and I was timid when I walked into the halls of the House of Assembly. I was really intimidated. And when I sat inside the chairs and it's like, okay, this is what it is. So I don't think I performed as well as I could have because of how intimidated I was. So when I saw this year came around, I said, okay, Hannah, it's time to show the Bahamas what you've got.
All right.
So that's why I reapplied, and I'm so happy that I got the opportunity again.
All right. Well, listen, I hope the second term is even better. Whatever constituency you represent, make sure that we have some good water coming through and BPL do what they have to do, and we will be okay, Hannah. Now, I'm just teasing, but that is phenomenal, and I love the fact that the program gave her the opportunity to come back again. And what is the age range, Ms. Brown, for
students? Age range is normally from 17 to 25, 26.
Excellent.
We work with them. We want to afford the opportunity really to any bright young mind who has something to say.
Excellent.
And so it's a joy to have Hannah, and Hannah will be representing the Kalani constituency.
Oh, that's my constituency. All right, Hannah, I'm going to let you pass that mic on to Rona. Now, Rona, you are actually an evacuee from Abaco.
Yes, ma'am.
And so this conversation on climate change is so particularly important.
Yes.
We realize that these storms are significantly shifting because of the impact on climate change. What does it feel like for you with all that you've been dealing with, all that you've already overcome, coming from Abaco into Nassau, being put into a new school system? Why is this an opportunity that you want to take on right now, given all that's going on with you?
I would love to take up on this opportunity because there are persons out there who would love to hear what the young persons have to say. Okay. So there are many persons out there who are hurting, but if I believe my voice can be heard, I know we can send a message of hope. Okay. So this is why I applied once more again, just as Hannah, to be a voice for the voiceless. Okay. So that's why I applied again.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, now you can pass that mic along, of course, to Mr. Bridgewater. Now, Mr. Bridgewater, you're a businessman, they tell me.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right, and we all hear that voice? Well, I can't wait to have the parliament. Now, Mr. Bridgewater, you had to relocate here to Nassau as a result of the hurricane and the impacts on your business. Of the two resolutions, which one are you most looking forward to debating?
Well, thank you for having us here, first of all, Anastasia. It is a pleasure. When it comes to the resolutions, I look forward to actually tackling cyberbullying.
Okay.
I had been coming back and forth between Grand Bahama and Nassau for quite some time based on business and the nature of our business, which is technology. And we focus especially on artificial intelligence and how we can leverage technology to enhance the prospects of humanity. So with cyberbullying and fake news, a lot of people can't really differentiate the two because it's all about the shares. How you share the information on Facebook, it gets to the masses very, very quickly. But there are technologies out there such as artificial intelligence that allows you to pull text, certain texts, and it allows you to really shut down certain articles that are deemed fake, that are not copyrighted, that do not come from legitimate media sources. So I'm really looking to really talk about that when we get into Parliament, to really inform Bahamians of how they can really cipher through fake news. And with cyberbullying, you have a lot of technology companies such as Instagram and Facebook. They're actually taking measures today to really combat cyberbullying, where they utilize artificial intelligence to cut off words like "I hate you" and other nasty words on social media.
Man, oh gosh, well, I done ready. Look at people. Phil.
Just impressive, man. You know, this is
why
we wake up so early here in the morning on Bahamas and Sunrise.
My whole mood. No, it really, I mean, just to hear you all speak so intelligently, I think you all represent for us a positive present, but also an even brighter future, right? A voice for the voiceless, somebody who's willing to try again, someone just willing to interact with other young people to see how they can make changes, and then hear somebody speak so articulately about AI, and it is coming, and so it's so important that we continue to have that conversation, right? It is so much, it's so here. So thank you at the Ministry of Youth for putting in the work to bring us these young people, because the nation needs to see them. Oh, I can't even close the interview. No, but again, thank you all so much for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, and you can tune in, of course, to these young people on Friday morning. That's this coming Friday at 9 a.m. on the Parliamentary Channel, or you can follow them at the Division of Youth 242 on Facebook to watch it live. We got to go now.
Before we go, those of you that are watching, our company, Bluestone Technologies, we actually launched a platform called findmebahamas.com. So that's www.findmebahamas.com. And it is a platform that we utilize artificial intelligence for facial recognition to help the government and Bahamians find their missing loved ones. As we know, there are about 1,400 plus still missing. And all you have to do is sign up, post their picture, put in the information, and we will be able to leverage those selfies to actually help locate missing persons.
Excellent. Too much.
You just got
You all, listen, make it a wonderful week. They've already sent us off on the right course, right?
Listen, there's nothing else to say after that, except, like you said, just have a wonderful week, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise.
See you back on Friday.
Bye.
Bye.